Welcome, everyone. This is Judge Angel's All Stars. We are so happy to have you with us. You make the difference. It's because of you we get our most interesting topics. Thank you so much. And of course, I'm Judge Angel, and I am so excited today. We have some guests that you just will fall in love with. And I'm going to introduce first our lady, Miss Carrie Brown, the Las Vegas promoter and entertainer. And with us today is Mr. Jim. Introduce yourself real quickly, Mr. Jim.
I'm Mr. Jimmy Baker, retired Army.
Thank you for serving. We're very honored to have you. Now, Carrie, you're here with us today because you've got an annual award show coming up.
Yes.
Your first annual. And I'm so proud to be a part of your foundation and your history making. And it's about a very important topic.
Yes.
Anti-bullying. What is your definition of anti-bullying?
Well, my definition of anti-bullying, it's all and I call it ill factors. There are malicious acts that people are posing on innocent victims, and it's very detrimental to one's life. It's a horrible nightmare. I've been through it myself, as you know. That's how this was birthed, through my own situation.
Well, give us some examples. So if someone's sitting there and they said, well, I've never been bullied, what are some examples of a person being bullied?
Well, unfortunately, I believe a lot of people have been bullied unawares. They just don't know the signs of it. That means you have on a beautiful dress today, but I would tell you your dress is ugly because I might be jealous I don't have that dress. It could be your skin tone. It could be just your smile. And people will just maliciously make up fictitious things that aren't even true.
So you're saying if someone says negative things about you or negative things to you, or they just create some myths to say about you.
Exactly, and that's bullying. And unfortunately, bullying to me today is a way that they have umbrellaed discrimination, harassment, stalking, retaliation.
Well, what happened to you? You said you were bullied. You're such a beautiful young lady, so articulate, so talented. Like, who would want to bother you? That's the question people would have.
That's a good question. Unfortunately, I kind of review my life as I've been bullied most of my life. It could be I was a pretty girl, smart, intelligent, and maybe I knew too much. But why do we have to hide behind things that we go to school to be in life? And if we're going to be an example and utilize our skills and talents, but we're being bullied even in that. So one form is in the employment. I was being bullied. I was being threatened. I was being called things that I knew that I was not doing. And it created a scare because now I'm being bodily threatened to be harmed physically. And that's very scary when you only have one life to live and you don't understand why they're attacking you. So I really became under attack, and what people really think happened in a situation, it was happening before them, but I was smart enough to notify my family and notify a few people that I could trust. And again, one of our guests today is Mr. Baker, who is also going to be one of the honorees at my first annual anti-bullying award show.
So you're saying that people started saying things about you, and they allowed that or increased the statements to a level of threats against you.
Exactly. And they were all on the Facebook. The libel and
social
spam.
media.
Yes, the cyber, the social. And it was very damaging because now I have my children and my grandchildren looking and reading, and why do I have to be put in a position to try to explain something that I'm not even doing? And so it was really bad. It was a freaking nightmare. That's just the best way I could tell you.
I'm sure. And just in general, we have to be very, very careful with this social media because it can be dangerous. And people evidently can say things, and if you don't try and respond or give a rebuttal, now it's just out there as if it's true, and people are reading it over and over, and when they're reading it, they want to accept it as truth. And they're saying, well, she didn't respond, but at the same time, you can't respond to all of those negative innuendos, because if you do, that's giving them more power to keep up with the falsehood.
Yes.
So it's something. Now, you mentioned children and grandchildren.
Yes.
And I understand your son was also very talented.
Yes, he was. My son, by the time he was 6 years old, was a child star. He ended up being a teeny bopper on Al Albert Showcase in Philadelphia. And he did everything you could think of in the industry. He did television, he did commercials, and he sang. Very talented, winning all type of awards and trophies all over. And he started out on a national level until he started competing on an international level. And by the time he was 17 years old, he was his own enterprise, and he had the privilege and the honor of singing for Coretta Scott King, Dr. Martin Luther King's wife, which that to me was one of the biggest honors in my life when they called for my son to do that. And I started managing my son. He was about 3 years old when my mother, I did not discover his talent, my mom did, but she told me, you were going to manage him. So that's where all my management skills came from. But I was mentored by the time I was 19 in Philadelphia by the founder of Unison TV and Unison Television Kids, which my son became the ambassador there.
Wow.
Before he was 10 years old.
So is he still performing?
He does a little bit here and there, but he has his own entertainment company, married with children who are very talented. I have a granddaughter who's an entrepreneur herself. Sarai is Sarai's lemonade, so she's like traveling all over too and doing a lot of things.
For her.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
beautiful, beautiful. Well, I want everybody to know you have an award show coming up locally here in Las Vegas, and we're blessed. We have an audience all over the world. So anybody coming this way, put this on your calendar. It's Sunday, next Sunday, right?
This Sunday, yes.
September the 24th, this year, 2017, at Ron DeCars. And tell us what's going to happen at that award show for anti-bullying.
Well, what's going to happen and what did happen just before I went on a cruise, which my cousin saw the need of getting me away and just having some me time. And she has her own television show on the East Coast called the Lois and Lamar Show. And so we went, but before we went, God had pressed upon my heart to give back to those people who were heroic in my life. And so as I prayed about it for my foundation as I move forward for anti-bullying survivors, and unfortunately some people have not made it through surviving anti-bullying because of the suicide that we're experiencing now. So to make a long story short, that is dedicated to the honorees, excuse me, the honorees, and those were the people who were very instrumental in helping to save my life because it was really bad.
Let's look at Mr. Jimmy is one of your honorees for your first award show against anti-bullying.
Yes.
E.C. Adams is also going to join you, is that right?
He's one of the performers. I have some exciting performers. I have Martin Kimber from Color Me Bad. He is the host.
Okay.
I have Phil Flowers, who is our ambassador of entertainment here in Las Vegas. E.C. Adams, which is an international superstar, and I work with Mr. Adams as well. And then we have Talitha Johnson. She's going to be on the show. I call her Maya Angelou. She's going to be phenomenal. I'm excited about her joining us. Then we have Deshaun Marshall. And Deshaun is a comedian, and he also travels all over.
Okay,
and performs. And William Jordan.
Who are some of your honorees for your first award show against anti-bullying? Sunday, September 24th. And what time is that going to be?
Well, the doors open at 5.
Okay.
And it's a dinner. It's a buffet. And then we have the show. So the dinner will go on from 5:30 to 6:30. And then from 6:30 to 8 is the show. And so I'm really excited about that. But the honorees, why they're so instrumental, when you were going through what I experienced, I have no family in Vegas. I had nowhere to go and nobody to talk to. And so I'm in a life-threatening situation that now I'm fending for my life. And so when I made a few calls again, because of who these people are, they couldn't believe it. And that caused an alarm for me too, because I'm like, now in a place, do you think I'm lying? Why would I lie? I need help now. And so what happened was, I then, again, I can't stress it enough. I began to pray, and when I was really thinking about what I was going through, because it was a heated situation, and when, again, these accusations are coming up, and these people are crazy because you don't even know what they're talking about. I go to a place, and God put on my heart Greg Austin to call him. And I called Greg Austin, which he is one of the honorees as well. And when I told him what was going on, right away he said, I believe you. What do you need me to do to help you?
Okay, so he's one of your honorees.
Exactly.
But in addition, before we sign off,
Okay.
I know this is so passionate with your heart. What would you say to people that are experiencing any kind of bullying? What are some things people should do to stop people from bullying them? Or how should they react?
Okay, well, the reaction would be when again, I'm going to do some updates and giving them the signs of what to look for. Please get help. Go to your local officials. I've been to the police. I called people. I left information with people as to what I was going through. So if they bodily harm me, as they said, they knew where it was coming from. Please get as much help as you can. There are not a lot of places and things implemented right now, and that's where I'm going to be instrumental.
Good.
But confide in someone that you have something going on that's really bad, that has put you in a place of fear.
So
Yes.
the main thing I hear you saying is to let those around you know that there's an issue developing,
Exactly.
so that you can have
That support system around
a
you as
support
well.
system, people
Yes.
around you that will understand. Well, Carrie Brown, thank you so much. I wish you the very best. I am going to help you in your venture, because anything to help people be more comfortable in their journey and what they are meant to do, I am all for. So, and remember, folks, none of us want to be guilty of bullying. And that means be careful what you say to people. Be careful about criticizing people. Ask yourself, do I really need to criticize them about this? If you think it's something that's going to help them, why not pull them aside and softly say it to them, as opposed to in a group? Love ye one another as I have loved you. It's a major, major commandment. And it's a high level for us to live up to. So thank you so much, Carrie Brown. Thank you, Mr. Jim.
Thank you,
I'm so
Judge.
honored to have both of you with us here on Judge Angels All Stars. Stick with us. We'll be right back. Thank you.